We now have an empty polygon feature class added to our project's geodatabase called water bodies, and we have it added to our contents pane on the left. I'd like to start populating it with water bodies by tracing them from the satellite imagery. We'll start with the Caspian Sea, otherwise known as the world's largest lake. It's this body of water here, just east of the Black Sea in the Mediterranean. I've already got a bookmark set up for it, so we'll come up to the Bookmarks button up here on the Map tab of the ribbon, and we'll choose the Caspian Sea bookmark. To create new features in our feature class, all we need to do is visit the Edit tab of the ribbon, and then in the Features group, press the Create button. That'll open up a new tab over on the right side of our screen called Create Features, and we can see the different feature classes that are available for editing. I'll go ahead and select the Water Bodies feature class, and that'll activate the different tools that we have available to draw with. Now, I want to practice with each of these tools first, so I'm going to come over to the left and turn off the World Imagery layer and the World Boundaries and Places layer by toggling off their checkboxes. Now we're not going to be distracted by the imagery below our practice sketches. In the drawing tools on the right-hand side, we're going to choose this first one, which will draw polygons. Go ahead and select it, and then in the space on your map view, go ahead and start clicking a point. That'll add the first vertex of our polygon. We can then move our mouse, click again to add the second vertex, and then keep clicking to define a polygon range. When we're done drawing, simply double-click to finish it off. If you want to draw another one, just start clicking again. Now if I wanted to end on this point and I forgot to double-click on it, you can just press the F2 key on your keyboard as well. That'll finish the sketch and activate that piece. The next drawing tool is this one here. It's called Autocomplete Polygon. When you click on it, it'll use the snapping points of other polygon features in order to finish off its own polygon. Now if you don't have snapping turned on, it's a good idea to turn that on. You can visit that at this portion of the ribbon, and we can turn snapping on here. We have lots of different vertexes that we can snap to, so you can toggle these on or off and play with them to get the best results. Make sure that snapping is turned on, and then when you come back down here, you should see these little highlighted points showing you that we're going to snap to these vertexes. Now I can click and make sure that my point is locked directly to that other vertex. I'll go ahead and click, and then I'll come back here and double click. That'll finish off a second polygon, and I know that this line directly coincides with the same line on the other polygon. The next drawing tool will lock me into a right angle. Go ahead and click the first point, click the second point, and then the third point that you click on will be forced into a right angle from that first line that you drew. You'll notice that I can't get an angled line other than 90 degrees. I'll go ahead and click again, come up again, and I'm at a right angle, and then I'll come, double click, and that'll finish off that polygon. The freehand drawing tool will follow your mouse pointer after you click. Go ahead and click, and then draw a small shape. When you're done, double click to finish it off. You need to be careful with this one though, because it can create overly complex shapes very quickly. The next drawing tool is called Autocomplete Freehand Polygon. Go ahead and select it and we'll see what that one does. For this one, we're going to start inside of another polygon, click once to activate it, and then start drawing a small shape. I'll come back into it, and then double click again to finish it off. After a moment of processing, ArcGIS Pro defines where that edge meets up with the other polygon and clips it off. Now I have a nice freeform shape that directly coincides with the boundary of this other polygon. And finally, the last tool is called Trace. Trace will lock the sketch line to the edges of other features, which is useful for creating features that overlap other ones. For instance, if I'll come over here and I will click on this first vertex. Then, as I move my mouse around, you'll notice that it directly follows the lines of the other polygons we drew previously. I can come down here and it automatically snaps to this vertex. I don't even need to click the mouse. I'll just keep dragging my mouse around. When I get close to this other vertex down here, it snaps to that, and I can make the turn without even clicking. Then I just kind of follow this around and it'll snap to each one of these points in turn. When I get to the end, just double click, and it finishes off a single shape that encompasses both of those polygons. When you're done practicing with the drawing tools, go ahead and come up here and press the Select button in the selection group, and make sure you select one of the polygons, and then you can just press Delete on the keyboard to get rid of those. I'm going to select each one of these and delete them all from the screen. When you're ready to go ahead and turn the World Imagery layer back on. Then I'm going to choose the Polygon Drawing tool, and we're going to draw out the shape of the Caspian Sea. I'll start my sketch at the very northern part of the Caspian Sea up here in Kazakhstan, and then we'll start drawing around by clicking on the points on the shoreline. Now if you accidentally click on a point that you didn't intend to, for instance, I'll just click out here in the middle, you can go ahead and go up to the very top in the Quick Access toolbar and press the Undo command, or press Ctrl Z on your keyboard to undo that point. Let's go ahead and start clicking around again. Now we're into Russia. We'll come down into Azerbaijan. I'll keep clicking down into the border with Iran, and we'll come up here. Now when I get to this point, you'll notice that the snapping tool is kind of locking me to the line that's already there. Instead of turning the snapping tools off, what I can do is hold the spacebar down on my keyboard, and that'll temporarily disable the snapping effect. Then I can continue clicking around the shoreline with the spacebar held down, and it won't constantly try and lock to the existing line. I'll keep clicking around, follow the shoreline. Now we're into Turkmenistan. We'll come back up into Kazakhstan. And I'll follow this around a little bit more. And when I get to the very top, I'll double click to finish my sketch. When you're happy with the results, go ahead and visit the Manage Edits group of the Edit tab and press the Save button. It's going to ask me if I want to save all of my edits, and I'll press Yes. The other option is to press the Discard button. If you press Discard, that's going to wipe out all of the changes that you've made and return the database to the way it was the last time it was saved. At this point, you can also close the Create Features pane on the far right side of the screen, and just for good measure, I'll return to the Project tab as well. And that's how you create new features in ArcGIS Pro. If you're used to working in ArcMap, you'll probably find this environment dramatically easier. You no longer need to open individual edit sessions for each workspace. Editing features is now as easy as activating the Edit tab on the ribbon.